Hey everyone! I know it's been a while. Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing another EA renovation. Now, I know in my last video I said I was probably going to go to the mansion area of Willow Creek next, but my productivity said no. So we are in fact moving on to a starter home in Oasis Springs today. So today we are going to be renovating Nookstone, which is this residential 20 by 15 and very cheap house. It's literally only 13,000 simoleons. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that to that low of a standard there. Oh, I always loved this house because it has the dinosaur behind it and it just sparks a lot of joy to see that in the background. I don't know if it's just me, but... So this house is supposed to be like a postmodern, like eclectic style house, and I'm gonna try to respect that and kind of keep the base house shape the same. However, medium wall height probably gonna remove. The windows just look terrible and it looks very bland. Like this blends in with the landscaping around, so we're gonna try to like bring out some colors and hopefully make it look a little bit more like it costs more money than it actually does, you know what I mean? The floor plan's hideous, and I'm not gonna put images into your mind, but this floor plan does remind me of something, so if you know, you know. I'm not really sure why the house is so big. You can see how empty it is here. There's just this huge empty space. Like the kitchen is tragic. Don't even get me started on this living room, like the slanted furniture. They do that in a lot of their early on builds and it's just not it. This bedroom doesn't even have like a entryway into it. It's literally just open to the house, so it really bothers me. So we're gonna make sure that it's a closed off bedroom in our version of this house. Literally the only room that's semi-okay is the bathroom, and that's saying something. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the renovation. Sorry. I always have my coffee in the morning and I just happen to be recording in the morning. You guys might notice it's pretty bright back there and you can like barely see my lights. I stream like later in the evening, so this room is usually like purple. You can see her a bit over on this side, but like this light over here is blinding, and this is with the shades entirely drawn. Like they are shut. So yeah, my lighting is not the best in this room, but you know what? We still try our best. Yeah, anyways, so you guys will notice that the first thing that I did with this renovation is absolutely push everything down on the walls, because those windows, if your sim was living in the house, they wouldn't even be able to see through the windows. They were like above the sim's head. Like there's no way they would be able to see what's going on outside, and I just don't like that. I would like this house to have a lot of natural light, especially being in a space like Oasis Springs. I feel like that's probably one of the cool things about living there, is like a desert. There's a lot of light everywhere, and so I really made it a priority in this build to make sure that we had windows and that people were able, and that the light was able to get in, because I felt like the house felt very dark and dingy before. So big priority. You will also notice that I took advantage of window stacking. If you guys know, there's that base game window that's the rectangle, and I think I used it on the front of my house here. It's like so small, but if you like stack it on top of another one of its own windows, it makes like this really nice square modern window, which we don't actually really have. We have a lot of like massive rectangles and a lot of like huge, like long and tall big glass windows, but we don't have just a nice square, tiny like square glass window. So I've been doing that a lot with my modern builds, is utilizing the new window stacking, because God bless EA for that one. Alt placing doors and windows, one of the biggest updates ever, especially for me as a builder. So I have been thriving recently with that update. What about you guys? Because I'm gonna be honest, no more corner doors. No more corner doors. Anyways, I did have a lot of fun with this build. I think I've mentioned this before, but my favorite kind of build to do is these starter homes, just because they're so small and simple and easy to do. And I feel like I'm not stretched so thin, because whenever I have to build giant houses or mansions, it makes me feel very pressured to like furnish every room, make it look a certain way, and I am just not the best at large scale builds. I feel like I'm way more detail oriented, and I like to kind of do some story building and like storytelling through my builds. So that gets a little bit difficult when the build is like freaking massive, because you get so tired just sitting there furnishing the same build over and over and over again for hours. This build literally took me, I think the speed build was 30 minutes. Yeah, and I did it while talking to a friend as well. So you guys might not realize this, but whenever I do these speed builds, I am usually recording and then I just mute all the sound and watch like YouTube or a stream or talk to a friend while I'm building, because I am the kind of person who has attention span issues and I cannot stay focused without having some other form of media. Otherwise, I just get really bored, and it's not that furnishing or building is boring to me. It's just like, that's how my brain works. So if I don't have like more than one thing going on at once, I have trouble focusing, which is kind of weird to say out loud because a lot of people are usually trying to like focus on one thing at a time, when I'm over here like, no, throw 5 things at me and I will cycle through my like consciousness and like focus on them all separately. Otherwise I can't like focus on the one thing. I don't know if anyone else is like this. I'm pretty sure it's a common thing, and I talk about it in my chat a lot, just having issues like focusing and deciding like, how do I do this and like how do I maintain focus. It's just like a weird concept, and I can't imagine what it's like to just be able to have one thing in front of you and just do it, because I feel like that would be a lot less stressful maybe. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I will say the thing that gave me the most trouble with this house was trying to make a kitchen that was not ugly with very limited budget, because it is very hard to get a nice looking kitchen when you can only get so many counters. And I ended up going with a corner kitchen, which I will be changing here in a second. It was just like a weird thing where I couldn't figure out exactly where I wanted to put it, but then I had it against the back wall there, and then I was like, wait a second, I have space for a living room, but like where will I put the TV? And so then I just decided to make it into a corner kitchen, and I did a cute little trick here where you use one of the half cabinets. It's like the end pieces that makes the cabinet shorter, and then I was able to scoot the fridge over a little bit more, because before then it was in front of the window, which I didn't want, and then I moved it in front of the door, but I needed a little bit more space to make it also not look bad. So it did cost a little bit extra money, but I think aesthetics over functionality, that is my motto. That is what I will live by forever. You all have heard me say it all the time on stream, and I will genuinely never get past that. So that is how we turned it out, and I ended up adding a little bit of a half wall to separate the living room and dining room space, and I also added tile, which is not something I normally do. I usually just keep the same floor for the entire house except for the bathroom, but I wanted to be a little bit different, and I added like a tile entryway, which I think kind of made it a little bit interesting and gave it a little bit more character, and also made it feel like a little bit of an older home with that like linoleum tile. Like, I'm not gonna be the first to say that tile is ugly, but it has the vibe that I wanted, if you know what I mean. It had the like desert like crust that I wanted, and sometimes your builds need crust, okay? And you can't be denying your build crust when it needs it, because in crust we trust. Don't forget it. Anyways, as we come to the end of the build here, I would just like to say that I in fact had an absolutely wonderful time doing this build. I really do like doing the starter homes, and I know that I keep saying this over and over again, but it does give me great joy to just make a home for one sim. It gets a little bit more difficult to have to try to imagine like, oh, what are they like as parents? What are their kids like? What's the dog like? And stuff like that. Well, it can be fun. As somebody who's lazy, I get overwhelmed pretty easily. I get overwhelmed so easily, my anxiety. No, I'm not gonna start singing, but you guys know that song. I hope so, at least. I'm not huge into TikTok, but I try to keep up with it a little bit just so that I understand like mainstream references and stuff like that. But honestly, I feel like I'm getting old because these kids come in with all these new references and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this speed build. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a full tour here and show you everything at the end of the speed build. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, and here is the finished version of this build, which I think I did a pretty good job making it look very recognizable as like Nookstone, but I tried to add some new colors to it. I even added some landscaping, which I personally enjoy. I think landscaping can make or break a build. The back patio is pretty empty, but this is a starter home, so you probably would be able to expand on it. The interior is pretty simple here. All we have is a entryway with a kitchen and a dining table. Not really a dining table, to be honest. It can only seat 2 sims, but again, I would imagine you could expand this pretty quickly when you start playing. Then we don't have a TV yet, but I imagine you buying a TV and putting it here, but we do have a living room. We have a bookshelf for skill building and fun building. And then over here is the full bathroom. And then we have a nice empty looking bedroom over here, which I also imagine a desk here for a computer. So though we are lacking a few like starter electronics, it won't be too hard to get those if you play the game. I'm just really proud of how this renovation turned out because I really like doing these like build type. Like it makes me really happy to have like the blocks of color. It can be like a bold decision and hard to do, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. What do you guys think? Let me know. So because I decided to skip my order that I was doing it in and I haven't completely finished Will Willow Creek yet. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to do the mansions next, so I don't really want to promise you guys what the next build is going to be because I don't want to like break that promise again. But depending on my productivity level, I might go to another starter home. So maybe like Johnny Zest trailer. We might do this weird agave adobe build over here. You know, like it could be anything, or we could go back to Willow Creek. It really just depends on how I'm feeling, because I don't know if you guys ever get this way whenever you're trying to build something. It's very daunting to take on such a large build. And if I'm not feeling inspired, then I don't want to make the builds because it's just like torture at that point. Especially with my history of the goth house, whenever I renovated it and I really liked how it looked, but then my save file got corrupted, so I lost the entire goth house. That's a sore subject for me, so we might be holding off on the goth house for a while. But anyways, I will be hopefully getting back into the swing of things, making videos more frequently, and I really do appreciate all of you for tagging along and sticking with me despite my infrequent uploading schedule. If you want to catch me live, stop on over at twitch.tv/Risshella. I stream every day except for Thursdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And right now we are working on the Career Legacy Challenge, so I'd love for you guys to come and check that out and get to know what that challenge is. But anyways, I won't hold you guys any longer. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, or afternoon. Bye! Thank you for watching my YouTube video. I don't know what I'm singing. This is my outro, but thanks. See you next time. Love you. Bye.